Welcome back to the 2 Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the Carolina Panthers and going over whether or not I think Sam Darnold can win Comeback Player of the Year in 2021. But before we get into that topic, just a quick question for those viewing. Comment down below what you think the Panthers' record will be in the upcoming season. You think they'll go above 500, below 500, make it to the playoffs, whatever your prediction is, comment down below. But getting straight into it, Sam Darnold, this is one of few guys in the NFL that I feel like really deserved a shot, a better shot, a more fair shot, and he finally got it. He deserved it, kind of like Matt Stafford and the Rams, complete different situations, and Stafford got an even better shot, but you know what I mean. Sam Darnold, I didn't want to see his career fall apart without ever getting a fair chance. While there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders now to prove it, he finally got the opportunity to show what he's got, so I'm happy for him. But winning Comeback Player of the Year is going to be easier said than done just due to the amount of competition, the amount of, I don't want to say candidates there are, because there's, you don't like just all of a sudden in the running, you don't make a case to run, but, just having a tough year last year in 2020, there are a lot of guys that did that. Jimmy G, Carson Wentz, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, there's some running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, receivers, OBJ, Julio Jones, some guys on defense, Nick Bosa, Danielle Hunter, Von Miller, Derwin James. It's some tough competition out there. Not to say Sam Darnold can't be on par with any of those guys or be just as good in the running or just as close in the running as them, but I'm just saying it's not like he's going up just against one other quarterback or one other player. It's a full class or a full list of players that are going to be in the running for Comeback Player of the Year that are looking to show that they still got some gas left in their tank. But Sam Darnold, I think he could do it. I mean, just looking at the upgrades around him alone, he's going from Frank Gore being his top running back to Christian McCaffrey. You're going to one of the worst backfields in the NFL to arguably the best. Offensive line, it's not that much of an upgrade. It's a little better, but again, it's nothing huge to brag about that now he's just got this fortress around him. Receiving core, I do think that's better. No knock to Rashad Perryman and Jamison Crowder, but I think being with familiar Robbie Anderson, being with DJ Moore, getting Terrace Marshall Jr., there's a lot more talent in this receiving group than there was in New York, in my opinion. Got a heck of an upgrade at head coach going from Adam Gase to Matt Rule. Matt Rule's still a little unproven, but if the cat's good enough to just keep his job, then he's already an upgrade over Adam Gase. There's Joe Brady. A lot of people like him at the offensive coordinator position. A lot of people think he could become a head coach soon. So there's 100% an upgrade in coaching staff and on offense all around. Looking at the defense, he's got a better defensive line. And I did like the Jets front four, but this Panthers defense is very well-rounded. I like it up front with Shaq Boston, Brian Burns. You have in the secondary, Jaycee Horn, Jeremy Chin, AJ Boye was added, Dante Jackson. It's a pretty stout secondary that is definitely going to get a little bit better this year. I do think the Panthers will crack being a top 10 defense this year. It's going to be close, but I do think they will get there depending on how some of these new and young guys go. We got to see Jeremy Chin make that next big step. We expect him to, but we got to actually see it happen, and we got to see Jaycee Horn live up to the hype of being the number one corner drafted in this draft class. So we do have to expect a little bit more out of these younger guys to become and crack into that top 10 and become a top 10 defense, but I definitely think they have a great shot of doing it. So with that being said, Sam Darnold's got the weapons, he's got the defensive line, he's got what he needs to get it done. And I know the Panthers and Sam Darnold aren't going into 2021 saying, Comeback Player of the Year, that's our goal this year. That's what we want for Sam. Sam's going in, that's what I want this year. No, that's just a bonus, and I know that, but just for the video's sake, that's what I'm looking at. What it's going to take to win Comeback Player of the Year, I'm not saying he's got to lead the Panthers to, the number one seed in the NFC. Look at Alex Smith last year. He led a 7-9 Washington team, and he got Comeback Player of the Year. Completely different situation. I mean, the guy almost died. Sam Darnold, he didn't almost die. So I know that's a different situation, but it just shows that they don't have to go out there and be this number one team in the NFL. If they could just make a turnaround, if Sam Darnold could just show he's the guy, I think he could do it. To me, if he could somehow, some way get this Panthers team to the playoffs, which I don't think is unreasonable, I think this year they'll get anywhere from 8 to 11 wins. I know that's a big range, but Sam Darnold is a big question mark. So I do think if he could crack them into the playoffs at 10-7, 11-6, I think he will be in the running for Comeback Player of the Year. And like I said, it's not going to be easy against Dak or Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow, if he finishes last in the division, you can almost cancel him out. If Dak Prescott doesn't make the playoffs again, goes 8-9, Sam Darnold's over here going 10-7, and Washington won the division in the NFC East, so I think the tap would go towards Sam Darnold. Carson Wentz, that will be tough. Jimmy G, that will be tough just because both those guys are, I don't want to say much better situations because Jimmy G's going to the situation he's in. But, if the Niners win the NFC West, that's going to be hard to argue against Jimmy if he played all 17 games. But if Trey Lance comes in, kind of takes it away from Jimmy G. Carson Wentz, even if they make the playoffs, if the Titans win the division and just storm them, I don't know. Running backs, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, that will be tough because you got 2 comeback player of the year candidates on the same team, McCaffrey and Darnold. They're on the same team. They're going to try and feed off each other. And it's going to be hard to say if they make the playoffs at 10-7. Both of them have had career years. Who wins the comeback player of the year thing? I don't say thing. Who wins the comeback player of the year award? Then that will be tough because the competition's on your own team between your own teammate. But that could be a good thing to feed off of each other. And like I said, at the end of the day, I don't think their goal is to win comeback player of the year. It's to win football games, it's to get in the playoffs. But if it were to just be Sam's job to win that, I think getting his team to the playoffs could, I don't want to say solidify him comeback player of the year, because if Von Miller goes off for 20 sacks or Nick Bosa or Danielle Hunter goes off for 20 sacks, that's going to be hard to argue against. But I do think if he could get the Panthers to the playoffs, he will at least be in the running, and I'm excited to see it. It's hard for me to predict now, will he win it, yes or no, if I was forced to bet, just because I don't know what some of these guys are going to be. Is Dak going to get hurt again? Is Jimmy G going to get hurt again? Is Carson Wentz going to play the whole season? Is Trey Lance going to come in? Is Joe Burrow going to make it out of the AFC North? There's a lot of questions here that aren't answered, so it's hard for me to pinpoint a yes or no answer for this one. Sam Darnold just being a huge wild card and question mark in itself, I don't feel comfortable saying yes or no. If I was forced to, I would probably lean towards no, but that's just because I haven't seen Sam Darnold play with the Panthers. I think my opinion could change week 1 when he plays the Jets, stomps them. I do think the Panthers will beat the Jets week 1. It's just hard for me to say, yeah, Sam Darnold's going to win it. I think he will be in the running for sure. It'll just be really close towards the end of the season if he can push in the playoffs. I think that's what my prediction will be. I think if Sam Darnold could get the Panthers to the playoff, yes, he will win comeback player of the year. If he doesn't, I don't think he'll win it. That's a fair take in my opinion that I'm comfortable saying. But I do want to hear from you guys. What is your opinion? Do you think Sam Darnold will win comeback player of the year? And do you agree with my take and my thoughts? Comment down below. I love hearing your guys' comments and replying to see what you say. Referring back to the question today, where do you have the Panthers record being at the end of the 2021 season? I've already given my range, 8 to 11 wins. I know that's a big range, but just not seeing so many of these cats play yet. Jaycee Horn being a rookie, Sam Darnold being in a new offense, Matt Rule still being unproven. How's Christian McCaffrey going to be rebounded from his injury? How's Terrace Marshall Jr. going to live up to the hype? Too many question marks to give a pinpoint number and be confident in that, but an 8 to 11 win range I feel relatively confident in. But you guys tell me, as always, and of course, I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.